Well, Congressman Paul, I also have to ask you, the worst case scenario, I suppose, which is that the Ron Pauls of this world sort of fade along with the rest of us in the freedom movement, and we have the template of the Security Prosperity Partnership and the North American Union. We have that thing marching forward. You know what I'm talking about, I'm sure, that this idea that the government is rolling forward, the bureaucratic class has an agenda, and it's at this point just about disconnected from representative government. Do you have any advice for us, because we're not here very long with you this morning, if we don't hear from you on the national scene again in this context, do you have any idea how we ought to proceed?
I think the most important thing is to become aware of what's happening. You just mentioned a couple of issues there about the North American Union. And in Washington, they don't talk about it. Quite frankly, not many members know about it, nor do they care about it.
Astounding.
Yet, there's a lot of people now that are starting to stir. As a matter of fact, there were a few elections in this last go-around that were determined with this issue. So the people are way ahead of the Congress, but we're moving in that direction. And I guess many members either they don't care or they don't understand or they really do believe in internationalism. There's a bunch that do. They believe sincerely in internationalism as well as we do on individual sovereignty. So I think becoming informed on these issues and then doing as much as they can to spread this message. And fortunately, people who are sophisticated enough with the internet are able to gather up a lot of support in this manner. So whether it's supporting a candidacy like myself or some other local official or local race, I think it's important to give it a try. If we don't try now, we can't complain quite as much later on. But it is a tough fight.
We're coming up to one of our hard breaks, Congressman. I know you want to be on your way at about 25 minutes after the hour. That'll give us just a couple minutes coming out of the break to continue to speak with you. While we come up to the break, I think folks would like to know, because we at K-Talk we talk a lot about the North American Union, the inexorable march towards the union on this continent. Besides yourself and maybe as many congressmen as I could count on one hand, is there any resistance, sort of native resistance within our legislature to this thing at all?
Yeah. Oh, you mean the state legislatures?
No, I mean the federal legislature.
No, less at the federal, but I think some of the states are waking up and passing resolutions. I mean, it's moving quickly in Texas, and yet there's been a few votes down there where people are starting to become aware of how many millions of acres may be confiscated through eminent domain. So that gets their attention, and I just hope that we do the job to wake the people up. And some people say, well, no, this is just about improving our highways, and things like that. But,
well, maybe federalism, whether the rise of the states, maybe that's re-embracing their sovereignty. Maybe that's the hope that we can hold out for a little bit. Congressman, take a little break. We're right there, going to do this commercial interval and come back with Congressman Ron Paul for just a few minutes and give him a chance to speak his mind just a little bit more on K-Talk. Here we are with our remaining moments with Congressman Ron Paul. Congressman Paul, we know that your expertise is in finance. Have a question on that, but before we run out of time, let's make sure folks know how to support the Paul campaign.
Best way is to get hold of our website, Ron Paul 2008.
Okay, fair enough. There's a lot of concern being expressed about the fact that Mr. Bernanke is elected not to report the M3, the monetary product of the government. Do you have any comment on that this morning?
Yeah, I did. Matter of fact, he was before the Joint Economic Committee this week, which I sat, and I asked him that question again. But he totally ignores it. He just shakes his head but never responds because this week I was able to quote a private source that reports M3, and it's going up at 11% rate.
Oh my.
That's tremendous inflation, monetary inflation, which is the source of the trouble. But and I was trying to make the point that the Federal Reserve and he himself are responsible for these bubbles, and that yet the most important information is that of M3, and we're denied that. At the same time, they reassure us and they tell us, well, there's no inflation, and yet they exclude, the cost of housing. Yet there was a housing bubble that's unwinding right now, so they're saying there's no inflation, housing prices are going up 15 or 20% a year, money supply isn't the problem because we don't report it any longer, and sometimes you just wonder why the financial markets don't seem to really care.
Yeah, not until the other shoe drops.
Right.
Well, Dr. Paul, it has been a privilege. I hope you'll come back and visit us on K-Talk. I know you have to go downtown now and do another radio interview. We would just say God bless and Godspeed.
Thank you very much. Nice to be with you.
All right, take care. And that was